everyone! So it's Katie here from the Queen of Teen Fiction, and it's time to get spooky. So Halloween is just around the corner and I love Halloween. It is one of my favourite times of the year. I like seeing skeletons everywhere and gross looking severed hands. Do you like my bookshelf that I've dressed for the occasion? This is probably the most effort I have ever put into a YouTube video. This is what Halloween turns me into. I also realise that these tiny little spiders dangling around me right now are probably going to end up falling on the floor at some point, and then I'm probably going to confuse them with real spiders. I also love having the excuse to put a costume on. I love dressing up at Halloween. Although I never know who to dress up as, because having glasses basically limits me to two options. I'm either Velma from Scooby-Doo or Harry Potter. I do usually tend to attempt dressing up as book characters. Being a shadow hunter is usually my go-to for an easy outfit because you just get to wear all black and draw runes all over yourself, which I have done several times. And then there was one year where I attempted to dress up as the Silent Brother. And I did actually win a competition run by one of the Mortal Instruments fan sites. I deserved to win. Not for the costume, but simply for the fact that to take the picture of me as the Silent Brother, I went down into my terrifyingly creepy cellar. It is horrible down there and there are webs and spiders literally hanging from the ceiling. So yeah, I definitely deserve to win that competition. But still, I love Halloween and I love everything about it. And I also have quite a few books that get me in the mood for Halloween every year. So I'm going to share with you some of my favourite Halloween reads. If I'm honest, I don't really read much YA horror. I don't know why, I just never usually do. Normally when I read horror, I will just default to Stephen King. So I don't actually know of that many scary YA books. So my list of Halloween recommendations is mostly just books that have spooky things in, like ghosts. The first book that I recommend for this time of year though actually is a scary story, and it's Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This was the first Stephen King book that I ever read, and I read it when I was about 13 or 14. When I was younger, I actually used to prefer horror stories. Probably because I grew up on Goosebumps books, and then when I got through all the Goosebumps books, I went looking for something slightly more darker and disturbing, and this book is terrifying. I haven't read it in a few years, but I don't know if it would scare me as much now as it did when I was a kid, but it is still totally creepy, and it's Stephen King, so obviously it's going to be creepy. So my next Halloween recommendation is Bleeding Violets by Dia Reeves. The funny thing is, I don't actually like this book. I bought it because I'd heard a lot about it, and then the first time I tried to read it, I only got about a third of the way in and then just put it down for years. And I picked it back up recently, reading it again and hoping that I'd get into it more this time, and I didn't. But the thing is, it's simply just not the type of book that I'd enjoy, so it's not for me, but it is probably a really fantastic Halloween read. Because this book is full of gory violence. There are some really, really gross scenes in this, and it's pretty twisted. So if that is the sort of thing that you like, then you should definitely read this at Halloween. My next Halloween read is The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. This is the first book in her Shades of London series, and I absolutely adore this series. This is a ghostly Jack the Ripper story, and it's definitely got the spooky elements. I also really love reading about ghosts in books. I don't know why. If a book has ghosts in it, then I'm probably more drawn to it. So this was immediately a book that I enjoyed. I'd love to see more people pick up this series because it is so fantastic. So please, if you haven't read this, then I think Halloween is the perfect time to pick it up. My next Halloween read is another Stephen King book, and it is It. Obviously, this is terrifying. Anything that includes any form of a clown is horrific. So yeah, this was pretty much my worst nightmare when I was a kid. Yeah, I still read it in my early teens. I grew up reading Stephen King books. I don't know why I did that to myself, but I did. Yeah, so if you want to freak yourself out this Halloween, this is the book you should be reading. So my top Halloween recommendation is a book that I recommend all the time, and it is The Mediator by Meg Cabot. The Mediator is about a teenage girl who can see ghosts and has to send them over to the other side. And although it's not very scary, it is about ghosts. And it is my favourite YA ghost story. It's a series of 6 books, and this is the first 2 books put into one big book. But they're not actually very big books, so you can get through the whole series pretty quickly. What I adore about this series, and why it's one of my favourites of all time, is that it combines everything. Not only does it have ghosts and creepiness and amazing fight scenes between Suze and whatever she is fighting at the time, it also has a lot of humour. It is really funny, and the characters in this series are just fantastic. So I know I recommend this all the time, but if you haven't read it yet, definitely pick it up this Halloween. So they are the top 5 Halloween reads that I have picked out, but there are so many good books to read at this time of year. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Also, let me know what books you're reading in the run up to Halloween. What are your favourite creepy books to get you in the Halloween mood? Let me know all the spooky things in the comments. So I hope you all have a fantastically spooky Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye! Okay, I have just almost fell off my chair trying to retrieve a book.